So good morning everybody, and yet another Tempest ride. This is Tempest 2, due to go out in about 5 hours, and the final test ride just to put the last 5 miles on the bike, as we always do. Ride test every morning on the day of handover, check that the bike is operational, clutch is good, indicators, lights, everything work, and the bike rides effectively. So we're going to put the last bit of mileage on this one. And these Tempest GTs are selling like the proverbial hotcake, hence because of that look on it, the cafe racer look, and the brap off of this exhaust. And I do like the old style retro bikes. I am a lover of my 80s and 90s retro bikes, and this does look very, very retro. As I said before on previous videos, peg position just slightly back from the mid, so it does tuck your legs and your knees under that tank nicely. Low speed handling on this is absolutely perfect. And we did a nice long ride test yesterday, absolutely crammed a load of mileage on. We normally do between about 12 and 15 miles. I put 17.5 on it yesterday. I was out having a ride. I've just enjoyed it so much being out on it that we had a little bit of fun, and we got some extra mileage on it. So just cracking up the mileage on this one, and we do a little bit of a round town, because obviously the bridge is still out at the moment, so I can't get out and onto the dual carriageway. But previous customers and the owner of one of these, Harry, has stated he gets around about 65-70 out of his bike, which is pretty darn good for a 125. And we get a lot of comments, oh yeah, but my bike does 73-74 mile an hour. At the end of the day, it is a 125. They're designed for around about 60-65 miles an hour. They're not like the old 125s that you used to get years ago that would go absolutely crazy, but they will 2 strokes. But obviously these newer ones, if you want something a little bit faster, do your mod 1, mod 2, get yourself a bigger bike, or go straight to Dadski if you're a little bit older, and get yourself something that's a little bit more pokey. And obviously people have, a lot of comments that I've had, and I'm going to try and answer a few on this video, especially the one I got on the Cypher. And obviously I did the, go and check that out, it's hilarious. I was absolutely creasing up laughing. And I did the unrestricted speed test on it, and we got 44 out of the bike. Someone's actually commented, oh, it's not that fast then, is it? It's a 50cc equivalent. It is 30 mile an hour bike. Yes, it goes a little bit faster if you unrestrict it. You can get 44. If you are 16 and you want something with a little bit more oomph, get yourself a Cypher, get yourself an Impulse. They can be unrestricted, and you can get about 44 out of them. Obviously a lot of people in the Cyphers have had a lot more speed out of them, and there is ways to obviously get in and do all the bits and pieces with them to get a little bit more out of them, but they are 30 mile an hour 50cc equivalents. 44 mile an hour, you're not going to get that out of an Echo, and you're definitely not going to get it out of a Hunter or an Aspire. So 44 is pretty good. So for that person that commented, if you know, as I said, if you want something faster, get yourself a 125 then. It's a 50cc equivalent, and it does sort of tickle me that people put absolutely dumb comments on the, oh, you know, alright, some people don't know, but it was just typical dumb question. That's like commenting on this, oh, can I make this bike louder? It's brappy enough as it is, but could I make my bike louder by taking the baffles out? Yes, but you're going to affect the performance of the bike. And I know that, hence my big bike. I wanted a little bit more oomph out the bike, and spoke to a very, very good Kawasaki nerd. Obviously I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to the ZX-7s. Spoke to a Kawasaki nerd, and I said to him, I'm looking at putting my can on, but I want it debaffled a bit more. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to affect the performance of the bike. How can I do that? Well, what you're going to need to do is change all your jetting, but then you're going to have to change everything else up as well. And it went over to his, and standard ZX-7 jets should be 180s and 190s, and he's actually upped it to 200 210s. but I had to have the complete carbs all reset up again. I had to have it all checked out, all balanced up correctly to handle my debaffled cam. But when I picked it up, he did say to me, it is going to affect your fuel consumption drastically. And what are you getting at the moment? I went, oh, about 40, 45. And he went, okay. And we did a run on it. We emptied the tank completely. We put exactly 1 gallon of fuel in the bike and took it out and gave it a run. I got 21. And then obviously, okay, so my fuel consumption's done. On my tank, I can normally get about 100 miles out of a tank, and that is it. Doesn't last very long, but she does spit, pop and bang like the proverbial, which it is designed to do on that can. It's not going to affect it. And people saying, oh, popping and banging does affect a can, does affect a bike. It doesn't at all if the bike is set up correctly. Now obviously I tend to do a couple of track days a year, and on track days that thing absolutely flies. She does go like the wind. And obviously being a Jap import, she's got slightly more horsepower than the standard Kawasaki. I think about another 3.4, but the top speed, and it has been checked on a test track. We took it to the local track and run it down the runway with the camera, and I have got a photo of me through the camera at 173 off the track, people, you know, not on a public road. That was at 173. I tend to sort of sit around about 70-80 if I'm out on the bike, and the occasional clock blur if the need takes me, but I tend to obviously check that I've got nothing around me in front, behind, and it's only myself that I'm putting them in danger. But I'd always say stick to your speeds, guys. There's no need for absolutely hammering around like a bunch of lunatics. And then the other question we had, and valid point, why do the Royal Alloy scooters have no storage under the seat? And I went, none of the Royal Alloys have got any storage under the seat. Don't think the Scamadis have, but obviously I didn't know about the Lambretta and the Vespers, and being a scooter, there's not normally anything under the seat unless it's like a little 125. Most of the stuff under a seat on a scoot is fuel tank. And he said, no, Lambrettas have storage under the seat. Have you ever seen the free? No, I haven't seen the Lambretta, but I'll take your word for it. But why would you want to put anything under the seat on a scooter? You're going to stick your backpack on, or you're going to have a little bag that you put on your rear rack. You're not going to want a top box on a Lambretta, told me that. Top boxes are for people that are commuting or the nerdy types. And then the other one that we had, and it's another very valid point. Friend of mine, and you can go and check him out, Zed Motovlogs, has got a Gen 1 ZZR. Obviously I've got the Gen 2 coming in August, thank God. Bit of a delay in getting that bike, but my Gen 2 is coming. He's got a Gen 1, and he's been doing quite a bit on it, changing the battery, he's changed all his brake discs on it, he's done some videos on it. And he fired it up the other night, and obviously he's taken his exhaust off and he's put aftermarkets on. I think they look absolutely beautiful. And then someone's actually commented on his video saying, ooh, how to really make a bike look ugly. And as I say, opinions are like buttholes, everybody has them. You're entitled to your own opinion, but it's down to individual taste. Now obviously when I first started riding, I hated cruiser bikes. I really did not like the Harleys, didn't like the look of them. I thought they were absolutely ugly, didn't like the foot forward position. And I've been in sports bikes all my life. All I've ever had is sports bikes or lent over bikes. And obviously as I get a little bit older, my tastes have changed. Yes, I still love my sports bikes. I think they're absolutely beautiful. But the thing that I have found now, I am really starting to get into these Harleys. I'm starting to get into the cruisers big time. I think these cruisers are absolutely lovely, to the point where I'm actually looking at getting myself either a night rod or a V-rod or a cruiser bike, just to sort of take out as an extra one. So will there be 3 bikes in the stable this year? I don't know. But obviously I'm starting to really get into cruisers. And when I mentioned to one of the guys, he went, yeah, it's an old age thing. He said, you get a little bit older, you end up with the bad back, the sore wrists. I went, yeah, all the time, which is why I went for my Z. But obviously now I'm really starting to get into these cruiser types, and as everybody said to me, welcome to the dark side. Once you've ridden one of those Harleys, you absolutely realise how beautiful they are. And it's a thing again, it's all down to individual tastes. A lot of my friends do ride a lot of cruisers, a lot of my friends ride the sports bikes, and a couple of the big moto vloggers that I actually chat to love their BMW GSs, the big touring bikes. And I think that GS is an absolutely ugly bike to look at. It's absolutely ugly, it's not for me. But that is a preference thing again. But the BMWs are probably one of the best tourers out. You're not going to get far better than the BMW GS. They just keep going and going and going and going. And they're an ideal commuting touring bike, and people do love them. So they are very, very reliable, and the name says it all, you know. You're not going to get much better bike for the money. But personally, I'm not a lover of them. You know, big high bike. I love the Africa Twins. Unfortunately, can't ride one because I'm not high enough to hold the bike up. But I would love an Africa Twins. Same thing again. It's all down to aesthetics and what you think, people. So individual preferences on those. A lot of people obviously saying, oh yeah, I love the Lexmoto brand, I think it's brilliant. And then you get those that come on, oh, I wouldn't touch Lexmoto with a barge pole, cheap Chinese rubbish. And you tend to find that they are the 17-year-olds that have absolutely no idea how to look after a bike, and they just want to absolutely thrash it out the box, peg it around everywhere, don't look after it, don't maintain it, never ever serviced it in their life, or oh yeah, I did it myself. And we had one the other day, and where they phoned up and said, oh, I've got an issue with my bike. Okay, yeah, I couldn't afford to take it to the garage and do the service, so I've done the service myself. But now the bike's going really, really funny. It's not changing gear correctly, it's coughing, spluttering, and it just doesn't sound right, and the engine's very, very ticky. Okay, and what did you use for your service? Well, we went down to Halfords, and we phoned the local bike dealer and asked him what oil to put in it. He told us 10W40, so we went to Halfords and bought a 5 litre thing of 1040 motor oil. Yeah, did you buy bike oil? Well, no, I just bought the car oil. And they actually changed their oil up and put car oil in it. Totally the wrong oil. 10W40 car and 10W40 bikes are totally different oils. And obviously he'd gone and changed it up, 10W40 motor oil. I hate to think what that is obviously done to the clutch or done to the engine. It's not going to be the best thing in the world for it. So obviously if you are getting a service, check it first. If you're doing your own service, check what you need, ask a local bike mechanic, and he will help you out, give you some advice. But obviously if you can afford it, get it into your local dealership. Servicing's anything between about 60 and 100 quid, so you're going to get a pretty good service for your money. You know, you're not going to do it very often, so that is one of the things to do. So we have got the obligatory 13 miles on the clock. I am heading back to the garage. Haven't had my cup of coffee and cigarette yet. This one's going out in about 5 hours. She runs absolutely fine. And another Lexmoto Tempest GT off to its owner. LXR video's coming up soon. Obviously we did the first ride on it. Customer bought that within about 2 days of it coming up. So that is in for ride testing. And I also have 2 ISCAs coming along. So, and on both of those, follow me on the Instagram and the Facebook. She actually posted on her Lexmoto page yesterday on the Owners UK. Looking forward to getting my ISCA. So that is going out to Ali shortly, and I'm going to be doing a ride on her bike. And obviously all the new bikes are on the way from Lexmoto, and we've got a new bike coming out next Monday the 19th. Unfortunately, I am not going to be at the garage for that week. I'm going to be on holiday, but good news is the bike is coming tomorrow morning. So what I am going to be doing is taking it out before it is announced, giving it a ride test, but the video will not be up until day of release, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to have to wait and find out. But that new video is going to be coming up the same time as Lexmoto release the bike, so it's going to be up about an hour afterwards, and you're going to get to see the first ride an hour after it's been released, if the delivery and everything works out. Obviously I am away on holiday, if not it's going to be a week's delay, but it's still going to be the first ride in the UK. So heading back to the garage, as always, hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, 2 thumbs down. Next video, top right, notifications bell, ding, hit that up there. And as always, all the details down the bottom here, www.eclipsemotorcyclesmk.co.uk. Telephone number is 01908 643 603 if you're looking for a bike. If you happen to live miles away from Milton Keynes, lexmoto.co.uk. Pop on there, find a dealer, put your postcode in, hit the magnifying glass, give you the 6 nearest dealers. And as I always say, there's some really good dealers out there and some awful ones. Best place to ask about dealers is the Facebook page, Lexmoto Owners UK. Pop on there and just ask, is there a really good dealer in the area that can help me out? So, almost back at the garage, guys. Loads more ride videos coming up this week. We're going to cram them all in. Until the next time, if you're out riding this week, be well, ride safe, and as always, it's a big goodbye from me.